So how many times do you find yourself repeating things when it comes to talking to your kids? Maybe once a day, twice a day, a bazillion times a day? If you're anything like some of the clients that I have, you're always feeling like, what? My kids just don't listen. So if that's the case, then stick around because today I'm going to share 5 things that you can do to shift this culture in your house and actually get your kids to listen to you. So if you know that somebody in your circle, right, in your amazing parenting circle has this issue of not getting their kids to listen to them, share this below. Share this and then comment below, shared it so that I can give you a shout out because you guys, it's Friday. We're heading into the weekend and we know that sharing is caring. So I always say like friends don't let friends parent poorly. And today the tips that I'm going to share are definitely going to bless someone. So share below, comment to let me know if this is you, right? If you've ever felt, and maybe it's just me, but I know it's not because I hear this all the time. If you ever felt like, why won't they listen? I'm tired of saying the same things over and over and over again. That's what we're going to address here today. So with those 5 tips, now I will admit it's Friday before spring break. Super excited to get this day over with so that we can officially start spring break for my kids and for work. So I don't have to go into work at all next week, which is also very exciting. So when I get excited, I talk really, really fast, right? I'm from New York. It's what I do. So if you want me to send you these 5 tips because you're worried that I might go a little too fast, just comment below with the word listen and I'll make sure that you get them. Also, if you know that you're not able to take notes right now, if you're watching your kids play, if you're driving to work, if you're at work already and you shouldn't even really be watching this, that's going to help you just get a recap of those tips sent to you so you don't have to go back and watch and be like, what did she say number 3 was? What was that came after the first one? I'll send them to you so you don't have to worry about that. All right. So before we get started, if this is your first time jumping in on one of my live trainings, hello and welcome. My name is Damari and I'm a parenting coach and a mom of 4. So I have a 17, 9, 7, and 4-year-old kids. And I love the work that I do because I get to work with the most amazing women on the planet and help them build stronger, more positive and purposeful relationships with their kids. That just means that I help them identify their toxic parenting patterns and give them new strategies, new tips like the ones I'll be sharing today to help them increase the peace in their house, have more joy, and really set their kids up for success. So welcome. Thank you. Even if you're catching this on the replay, I'm glad that you're here and I hope that you play along. So by play along, what I mean is give me likes, give me hearts, give me comments. If you have questions, drop those below too. And because I'll be dropping some nuggets today, when you hear one of those things where you're like, whoa, that is it, what I want you to do is comment below with the hashtag drop the mic. Hold on. Drop the mic. And then put after that whatever it was that you heard that you were like, this is great. So if someone isn't sure if they want to watch the video and they're looking at the comments, your comment with your drop the mic hashtag is going to let them know like, look, this was the truth. You need to hear this. So make sure that you're doing that as the video goes along. All right. I'm getting ready to start. But before I do, I want to give one quick disclaimer. Right? So I'm talking about ways that you cannot repeat yourself over and over and over again, but I don't want you to say like, well, Damari said, right? Damari said that I shouldn't have to repeat myself ever, because that's not it, right? These are still kids that we're dealing with, that we're talking about, whether they're 2 or 5 or 12. So they're still learning, right? Their brains are still developing. So we are going to have to repeat ourselves from time to time. What we're talking about today is really about, look, I feel like my kids aren't, they're trying to be disrespectful and they're trying to ignore me and they just won't listen. I have to keep telling them the same thing. So it's not that I'm not going to say don't ever repeat yourself, but this is about, I think there's something else going on. Maybe there's something that I can change, that I can do differently to really get my kids to listen to me. That's what it is. So you're still going to repeat yourself from time to time, but not to the point of frustration when you think your kids are just trying to play you, right? Okay, so let's jump in with our tips. Are you ready? If you're ready, comment below with ready so that I can start sharing tip number 1. All right. Hola, Cami. Okay. So here's the very first tip to get your kids to do what you want. And you guys, these are simple, really simple to do. So take heart. And as I'm going through them, think about what would this look like for me? right? Here's the first one. Connect with your kids. So kids that feel connected with their parents are more likely to actually listen to their parents, right? So what does connecting with your kids look like? It's that one-on-one or one-on-two, or in my case, in our case, one-on-four, sometimes if we're doing it all together, but taking that time just to interact and to bond with our kids. So maybe we're reading them a story, we're practicing our Spanish. I say that because that's my Spanish coach. We're practicing our Spanish together. We're watching movies. We're playing games. Something to make them feel connected to you so that when the time comes for you to have to make a request and to ask them to do something, they're more likely to listen to you. So that's number one. The second tip is just be respectful, right? And this one seems like a no-brainer, but so often we forget that our kids are just tiny humans, that we're trying to grow into really amazing humans, and we forget the basics of being respectful, right? We're like, I'm gonna talk to my kid in a way that I would never talk to another adult. And we think because they're our kids that that's okay. But our kids, just because they're our kids doesn't mean that they don't deserve our respect. And we forget that. Hold on. That's a drop the mic right there. Hashtag drop the mic. Just because they're our kids doesn't mean that they don't deserve our respect. So what does that look like? It looks like I'm making eye contact with you when I'm speaking, right? So if I'm on my phone and I want you to do something, I can put hold on, pause. You guys see my phone case? Isn't this the most beautiful phone case you've ever seen in your life? Like yesterday was Founders Day for Spelman, and I've had this for a while, and it's just so amazing. Okay, I wanted you to see that because I love it. It's my favorite phone case that I've ever had, like in all my life. So what was I talking about? Oh, eye contact. So just make eye contact with them. Being respectful and having respectful communication just means I'm not yelling at my kids. I'm not always, correcting them or lecturing them. Hey, baby, can you lay down for a second? I'll be there in 1 second, okay? You want to sit here with me? And so Corey just woke up. So it means being respectful, and the same things as you're having a conversation with an adult and you want them to be respectful, keep those things in mind so that you can do the same thing with your kids. They deserve that respect. All right. So the third thing, and some of y'all aren't going to like this just because of the title, is release control. Now, I'm not saying that you have to let your kids be in control and they get in control and they run the whole show. That's not what this is. But it's okay to pull back the reins a little bit and not always be commanding and demanding and giving orders, because when you do that, when all you're ever doing is telling them what to do or telling them what they're doing is wrong or how to fix this, they end up tuning you out. And then you feel like they're not listening because in that case, they don't want to hear what you have to say. So if you want your kids to stay open and to still, listen to what you're saying, release control. Think about it like this. Count the number of times. So if you're watching this live, do this today. If you're watching the replay, take a 24-hour period and count the number of times that you're correcting your kids, that you're demanding that they do something, that you're demanding that they stop do something, and then try to cut that number in half, right? If 20 times in a day you're like, hey, stop, wait, put it down, go over here, stop hitting your sister, listen to this, go eat your dinner, put your shoes on, go brush your teeth. Guys, imagine being in that position. Like if that's all you hear from someone, you're going to turn it out too. And then you're like, wait, they're not listening? Yes, just, nope. Cut it out. Release control. Yes, baby. Okay, hold on. I got to wipe my butt. I'll be right back. Hold on. Yes, baby. Here's my videos, okay? I'm almost done. Hands all wet. Okay. Yes, when all you do is tell them what to do over and over again, thank you, Camille, then they start tuning you out. So if you don't want that, think about, excuse me, how you can start releasing control and what that might actually look like or sound like. All right, so here's number 4. Less is more. So this is for those of us and I'm claiming this, right? Like those of us who like to give long lectures about what you're doing, what you should be doing, what you're not doing. And we find that we're doing this over and over and over again. But this ties back into the last one. If you're talking all the time, your kids don't know when to pick out the important information. So let's just make that easy. And if we simplify our commands and just try to use one word, two words to give to our kids, then they know what to focus on. So for me, one of our struggles is dinner time and reminding the kids to clean up after themselves, right? So again, my kids are 7, 9, 4, and even the 17-year-old, they need these reminders, but I get upset when I feel like I have to spend 5 minutes reminding them. I don't really need to do that, right? So instead of me saying, okay, when you're done with dinner, make sure that you put your plate in the sink, wash it off, dry it off, and then put it away. I can really just say, all right, plates, because they know what to do with their plates. They've heard this 50 million times because I've said it, excuse me, 50 million times. So simplifying my requests, using less words is really more impactful because it helps them focus on what they need to do. I'm dying. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Camille, I see what you said. I've been trying to turn some of those interpersonal commands into questions. Right. So that's another technique. It's not really for less is more, but it helps them think through this, right? So instead of me telling you what to do, I'm going to give you a chance to figure it out by asking you a question. With the less is more, I'm even giving you another chance to practice your problem solving skills, right? Because I'm just giving you one clue, that one word, sneakers. And then they're like, sneakers? What about my sneakers? What do I do with my sneakers? Oh, my sneakers are in the middle of the floor. And every single day for the past 3 weeks, mommy has been saying, where do your sneakers go? They go in the closet. Where do your sneakers go when you come home? They go in the closet. Where do your sneakers go? So now I'm not even asking that question. I'm just going to say sneakers, right? If I keep asking you, don't hit your brother, instead of saying don't hit your brother, what do we do with our hands, right? And then I can just say hands. So what I want you to do is think about a command that you give your kids over and over and over again. Maybe it's about where they put their socks when they take them off at night. Maybe about picking up their clothes out of the bathroom. And think about one word that you can use for your entire command that'll still give you the result you want. So maybe it's dishes, sneakers, socks. What's that one word that you can use to try to simplify your language to get your kids to listen more, right? So that's one tip. So here's the last one, guys. I got one more. Drop your word below so I can still see those. One more, and this is really the big one, because a lot of times when we feel like, my kids, they being hard-headed or they're being lazy. They don't want to come. They don't want to listen. They don't want to do this. The biggest problem that I see is that there's really some underlying issue that we're not addressing, right? That we're not even trying to figure out what else could be going on. And it's not just that they don't want to listen. What else could it possibly be? And not just that my kid is trying to get on my nerves, right? Sometimes there's something else going on and we need to address that bigger issue. So maybe your kid just takes a lot of time to process information. So you're giving all these commands and you're giving all these demands and you want them to do all these things and they don't do it. Not because they don't want to, but because they're still processing what you're saying. So in that case, they might need you to speak very slowly and have long pauses so they can process and actually do what you want, right? So maybe that's not your kid's issue. Maybe your child is actually not even an auditory learner. Maybe they're a visual learner. So you're telling them all these things to do and they don't get done and you're like, they just don't want to listen. Maybe it's that they weren't able to process it because they need to see a visual cue. Maybe they need a picture or a chart or a Post-it note as a reminder to be able to see that, right? So think about what else could be going on with my child that I can address to increase the likelihood that they're actually going to listen to me, right? Maybe your child really struggles with transitions. So it's like when it's time to go to bed and you guys are playing, or it's time to stop eating and clean up. Those transitions can be hard for a lot of kids. So maybe it's not that they aren't listening or they don't want to do what you're asking them to do. They just need to be prepped for that transition. They need a little bit more support. Hold up. Ready? I got another drop the mic. Hashtag drop the mic. Maybe your kids just need more support. Maybe it's not that they're trying to ignore you, that they don't want to listen. They just need more help. Maybe what you're asking them to do, they haven't even mastered that skill yet. Maybe they don't know how to do it. And you think like, oh, I told you to clean up the kitchen, and I come downstairs and there's still crumbs on the floor. Maybe they didn't make the connection yet between clean the kitchen and sweep the floor. They thought clean the kitchen just meant do the dishes and wipe the counter. So think about, how can I support my kids in this? Is there something else that they might need? What's the bigger issue? And how can I address that? That's the number one mistake that I see parents making when it comes to thinking that their kids won't listen. And they're saying the same things over and over and over and over again. When you find yourself saying the same things over and over and over and over, something else needs to happen. And that something else is often, I've got to find this bigger issue and learn how to solve that problem. So that's all 5 of those tips, guys. I know it's a Friday. For many of us, it's either the end of spring break or the beginning of spring break. So if you didn't catch all those, it's okay. Comment below with the word listen, and I'll make sure that you get all 5 of those tips sent to you. And if any of them were helpful, so if any one of these tips you're like, oh, I think I can try that, share this video so that someone in your circle can be blessed too. Maybe it's like, hey, babe, I want you to watch this so that we can focus on, listen to number 3 that Damari was talking about. I think we need to try to work on this one so that we can stop repeating ourselves and saying the same things over and over and over and over again. So shout out to me. It's not showing me who else is here, but hola to everyone. Thank you guys for jumping in. That's all I have for today. I will be back next Friday at 9 o'clock again with some more tips, right? To help you just think differently about parenting, right? And to really start this counterculture parenting movement where we're not saying, I've got to parent the same way that I was parented or the same way that everyone else is being parented, to really step out and say, let me try something different to get some different results for me and my family so that I can do what's best for us, even if it looks a little bit differently than what everyone else is doing. It's okay. And I want to equip you with those tools so that you can create more peace in your house, more respectful relationships, and for all my ladies to really fall back in love with being a mom. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will see you next time. Goodbye.